All right, what's up, everyone?
Hello.
This. Oh, very good. All right. We know what this is.
Neurofibroma.
All right, neurofibroma. Good, bland, spindle cell, lazy S-shaped. Nothing else crazy about it. What do you see here?
It's a schwannoma.
Yep. And why do you get how are you getting there?
Because you have the Antony A and B tissue. So the B is like that whitish tissue around, and the A is the like alternating dark. Oh,
Yeah, and then you have so capsule, subcapsular edema, and then some people may say that the Antony B may represent the subcapsular edema.
yeah.
Gotta really set this setting so that it automatically mutes people and they have to unmute. Okay, yeah. So Anatony A makes barricade. Anatony B. What about this one? Circumscription?
Well circumscribed.
Capsule?
Oh, is this an encapsulated neuroma?
Well, it is encapsulated. What do the cells look like?
Oh, no.
Spindle or epithelioid?
More epithelioid than
Or
spindled.
epithelioid. What? I can't hear if someone said something. But I wanted you to notice something. See how like this has a resemblance to this? In the sense that there's both a capsule and some subcapsular edema.
Yes.
Yes. But other than that, so you have epithelioid cells here, and sometimes you can get these pseudonuclear inclusions. That's another feature that's been described. But it's not a coincidence that they resemble each other. In fact, the Elstonism cheat code for schwannomas is just capsule with subcapsular edema. You're done. Don't even look for the Anatolia or anything else.
Avi, that was the cellular neurothecoma has like this kind of epithelial like cells or
Sure they do, but do they have a capsule with first of all, do they even have a capsule?
no, they don't have capsule, I think.
Yeah, because like what do you think this thing is?
Probably cellular.
Yeah, so you have these epithelioid cells and they should not have a capsule, and they don't, and they're indistinct. Sometimes you can get some multinucleate giant cells that's been described in here, although I don't see any right now. They're indistinct from each other. They're not as myxoid as their counterpart, which is, by the way, what's their counterpart?
The cellular neurothecoma.
This is the cellular neurothelioma.
So then it's the mixoid. I forget what the word is,
Looks
what
like
the name
this.
is. Yeah. The mixoid neural.
Myxoid neurothelioma.
The
And
one that is positive for
yeah,
S100.
this one is positive for S100. The other one's positive for S100A6. Yeah, and notice how this one has more of a septate pattern. It's more myxoid. But anyway, in either case, Neither of them have what?
Caps.
A capsule, or let alone a capsule with subcapsular edema. Is there a variant of a schwannoma that's epithelioid?
Ancient schwannoma? No. No.
So if you're saying this ancient schwannoma, so what is so schwannoma with ancient changes then? Wow. What do you think this is?
Oh, this is definitely ancient schwannoma because it has a large, like large nuclei.
Yeah, by the way, what does this also have? Right here,
Encapsulating.
a capsule with subcapsular edema. What a coincidence. My goodness. It's like a theme. But yeah, this is ancient change. So this is our schwannoma with ancient change. You see that, right? All right, going back to this one.
Epithelioid schwannoma.
Very good. Epithelioid schwannoma. By process of elimination. Okay. You guys know this.
Looks like there are bundles of smooth muscle, maybe? Bundles of something. No, maybe not.
Bundles of things. Let's get a low power view here. Where are we? Face or scalp.
Scalp.
Like it's
Yeah.
honeycombing. It's going in. It's pretty infiltrative. It's going into the fat, right? Pretty deep.
Was it DFSD?
Well, DFSP. What's wrong for that?
No induction.
No, we don't really see it in induction. That's for DFs. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
cell type that's really wrong for that. It's not really in. Is this growing like a DFS? Is the cells like a DFSP? Remember our translocation bland sarcomas?
No, no, it's
They're
not.
very all together, all the ducts are in a row. This is very more haphazard, lazy S-shaped nuclei. This is with a
Oh, this is diffuse neuroma.
diffuse neurofibroma, exactly.
Fibroma, yeah.
So remember, when you see something growing into the fat, it's not automatically DFSP. That's one thing that traps some dermatology residents. They see something infiltrating into the fat. Aha, it must be DFSP. Any spindle cell thing that grows into the fat has to be DFSP. No, diffuse neurofibroma can do that. And something else can look like it's doing that, but really it's part of the tumor. Spindle cell lipomas can look like that. But instead of infiltrating the fat's part of it. Okay.
Avi, do you think they're gonna give us three answer choice for this? Like,
Do I think they're going to give you a question and then one option is going to be a DFSP, one option is going to be a diffuse neurofibroma, and the other option is going to be a spindle cell lipoma, and then your third option is going to be a pleomorphic lipoma?
how do
I
we
notice I remember it very
really mean.
It's really mean, but you'll notice I remember it very specifically.
Interesting.
Anyway. What's this architecture look like?
Wait, can we go back to the last one for just 1 second?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
how do you like what is telling you that is not DFSP?
Okay. So remember when we looked at DFSPs? In fact, I'll just pull up the previous chapter because that's where DFSPs are. It's the chapter before the previous chapter. Okay, so this actually is important. So we should go over this. We should go. So know the DF look, the DFSP look. This is DF. You know that by now. But it's important to go DF, DFSP, and then cellular diffuse neurofibroma. All right. This one was DF. That's dermatomyofibroma. Give me DFSP. Aha, here we are. Okay. So this one's also infiltrating the fat, you may notice. But look what's different. In fact, I want you to describe and tell me what's different.
Yeah, so this has the at least to me, it looks like it has the more of that honeycombing, which is like the alternating directions of cells, kind of.
You mean storiform?
Yeah, sorry,
Okay,
that's what I
okay,
meant.
storiform. Yes, storiform growth pattern. In this case, sometimes you can get a fibrosarcomatous DFSP. We can see like a herringbone kind of look to it. But the point is that these are bland fascicles. Like it's a fascicular growth pattern, and the ducts are basically in a row. They're not haphazard. There's an organization to it. It's not completely, these nuclei are not just randomly floating about. But let's go to the neurofibroma now. Node. Sorry, we're still working on our grant for improved internet access.
So other things that are helpful when you're looking, so DFSPs are densely cellular, and they tend to
Yeah.
have like a collagenous stroma. And you'll see the neurofibromas, those are loosely cellular, yeah, and they're just not as monotonous. So, and you'll see
Okay.
like sometimes if you're lucky, you'll see like nerve twigs. There are little nerve twigs scattered about. So they're much more heterogeneous in their appearance overall. The other thing is that diffuse NFs will permeate the entire dermis. DFSPs are usually centered in the mid to lower reticular dermis and then grow up and down. So it's something else that can help.
Thank you.
Yeah, all of those are
Yeah, that's
very
right.
differentiated. But look at how you. So do you see that these cells, these spindle cells, they're very loose, as Shane mentioned. They're also like
Yeah.
random and haphazardly arranged.
Yeah.
But these are not randomly arranged. These are very, very organized. The ducts are in a row. Whether they're storiform or whether they're fibrosarcomatous, there's an organization to this. Dense, cellular, loose, not as cellular, haphazard. Okay. Okay.
The other one you want to know about before, so Avi, the one thing, fibrous hamartoma of infancy is another one that has cells grow around individual adipocytes that mimics the honeycombing that you see in DFSP. So I would just take a look at examples of that if you can see it somewhere. That's another, something that could be in a multiple choice. NodFash can do that too, just to kind of round things out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you don't have to do that now, but something to think about.
Yeah. We should go over that. NodFash we went over. Fibrous hamartoma of infancy, you see the three different populations. That's the other differentiator versus DFSP. But yes, definitely review that as well. Multifocal.
Is this plexiform neurofibroma?
Yeah, very good. Plexiform neurofibroma. Excellent. Good job. Superficial. Clefts.
This is palisaded encapsulated neural.
Very good. Yeah, PEN. Excellent. Very large. A lot of blue cells. Mitotic figures, stepachromatin.
Merkel cell.
Merkel cell,
Merkel cell. Stains.
CK20.
DK20, and CD56, among others.
Wait. Well, let's
Doesn't
start
it
go one by one. So CK20, how is that going to stain?
Merkel cell.
Right, but how is it going to stain the Merkel cell?
Perinuclear.
Yes, perinuclear what?
Stipling? No, I don't know.
Perinuclear dot. Anyone hear of the perinuclear dot pattern? Perinuclear. Okay, so there's this thing called the perinuclear dot pattern. So it's not just CK20, it's it's the cytokeratins that are positive for it will stain not the nucleus, but this dot next to the nucleus. So that's important. They test for this. They can ask you, like, how is it going to stain? Is it going to stain cytoplasmic? Is it going to stain intracytoplasmic? Is it going to stain nuclear? It's perinuclear dot pattern, CK20. Okay, what else is it going to stain for?
Your neural markers like neurofilament,
Okay.
and then like endocrine markers,
All right, your neuroendocrine markers like.
chromogranin, synaptophizing,
Okay.
neuron-specific egolysis.
And what's a very important stain that you have to get for this?
It's like a Merkel cell polyomavirus.
Well, you can I don't know actually if we do IHC for that, but okay, so that is something they can test. By the way, if now that we're on that, if it's positive, is that a good or bad prognostic factor?
That's a good prognostic factor.
It's a good prognostic factor if it's positive for it. What's a more important stain to get to rule something out?
TTF for lung cancer.
Yeah, TTF1, small cell lung cancer. Small cell lung cancer can look like that. Okay.
But they will stain with CD57 too, right? So just because that was mentioned, so that's okay. That's okay. That could
57 or
be.
56? 56.
I thought it was 56.
56.
I think 56 and
neuroendocrine.
57, but they'll stain with 56. Sorry, that could be in a multiple choice too.
Yeah, 56 I know is a neuroendocrine marker. Well, it's like a proxy for a neuroendocrine marker. It's not just like NK. So you have
Is it
this,
granular cell tumor?
yeah, granular cell tumor. Okay, you notice the pseudoepitheliomatous hyperplasia.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just the granular cell tumor is also associated with pseudoepitheliomatous hyperplasia. Same thing, just another example, differently stained, but pseudoepitheliomatous hyperplasia. By the way, where do you think this? First, let's identify it. Here's the.
The tongue.
Very good. What gave it away to you?
The epithelium.
Yeah, okay, epithelium. So you know it's a mucosal surface, you know it's a granular cell tumor, and you're associating it with the tongue. All right, fair enough. It could have been a number of mucosal surfaces, but yes, sure. We already went over this and this. Oh, look.
Supernumerary digit.
Okay, supernumerary digit. See the nerves? All right. Everyone ready? What did I just do?
You remove the nerves.
I removed the nerves. Isn't that cool?
Magic.
Yes.
Magic. Okay, what's your diagnosis?
Acquired digital
Acquired digital.
fibrokeratoma.
Very good. Okay, just as a little point of review, capsule with
Yes.
subcapsular edema, yes. So it's a type, okay, and then it has
Ancient change.
ancient change.
Ancient schwannoma.
Low power, marbled appearance. Hypocellular and hypercellular areas. High power on the hypercellular areas has a what type of appearance?
Epithelium?
Has a what?
No, just kidding. Spindle.
Spindled, okay. Growing in what kind of pattern?
Store form.
So fun.
Well, storiform is like a cartwheeling pattern.
Hmm.
Let's see if we can, actually, I think I had it on the screen. Maybe I'll find a better example. That one wasn't good enough. So definitely spindled, low power marbled appearance. some pleomorphism.
Malignant peripheral nerve sheath tumor.
What's telling you that?
Like the pleomorphic hypercellular area.
What is, by the way, what's this kind of growth pattern? I'm drawing it.
Herringbone.
Herringbone. Fibrosarcomatous, our old friend. What's our differential for fibrosarcomatous growth patterns? Like herringbone?
Sarcoma, fibromyxomatous, DFSP.
Fibrosarcomatous DFSP.
Yeah.
And
Peripheral malignant nerve sheath
malignant
tumor.
peripheral nerve sheath tumor and synovial sarcoma. And sometimes in malignant peripheral nerve sheath tumor, you can actually see the neurofibroma, the neural neurofibroma component here. I don't see it in this example. But sometimes they're nice to you and they can give you that. Very similar, by the way, another marbled low power appearance. And if I go in, we can see again, what kind of pattern?
Herringbone.
Herringbone spindle cell pattern. Okay, so we're also thinking
Our herringbone differential.
for herringbone differential, which in the neural chapter, we would be thinking, what's the one neural element on the herringbone differential that we just went over last example? Like literally this one?
The malignant
Malignant
peripheral nerve sheath.
sheath tumor. However, this one has a little bit of a different story to it. So this one has all those features. It has a few larger cells with eosinophilic cytoplasm. Here. This one. Now there's a little bit of procedural hemorrhage here, so I'm trying to not let that confound the situation. Okay, I think we circled enough of them. Okay, so everything for malignant peripheral nerve sheath tumor plus these larger cells with eosinophilic cytoplasm. What's that telling you? Has some rhabdoid differentiation. What do we call a malignant peripheral nerve?
Malignant
Triton tumor. Yes, but there is, by the way, such a thing as a benign Triton tumor, which ironically enough, you're not really responsible for. But yes, okay. And these will stain, by the way, what do these stain for?
actin? No.
They might stain for actin, but more specifically,
Mile something.
Desmond.
I see.
Okay. Rhabdoid differentiation, remember. Really, by the way, malignant peripheral nerve sheath tumors they can have all sorts of different, it's not just they like to test on the rhabdoid, but they can have other types of tissue that they can differentiate toward as well. They like the malignant Triton tumor. It's fancy though. Okay. What are you guys saying here?
I think it's I guess a stain, and it's staining.
Yes, it is a stain. It's called hematoxylin and eosin.
No way.
That is a stain.
Looks like capsulated
It's their nerves.
the nerve, yeah.
Nerve bundles haphazardly arranged. Disorganized. Not much else to it. Like it isn't legit nerve bundle.
This sclerosing perineurioma.
So you think this is a sclerosing perineurioma? Well, that's very interesting. What do you think this is?
JK. That's the sclerosing perineurioma.
This is sclerosing perineurioma. So it's similar in the sense that there was it had like a multifocal type of look to it, like almost like a chain-like linkage from one to the next, except the chain wasn't really connecting. It is kind of connecting here, a trabeculated type of growth. Whirling, that's the other thing you look for. See the whirlies? Whirling, whirl. And here. But in this example, so it's whirling, it has a, as the name implies, a sclerotic type of stroma, organized in chains, and it has a whirling pattern to it. Now this is legit nerve bundles that are haphazardly organized. So if someone,
Is this palisaded encapsulated neuroma? No.
palisaded encapsulated neuroma, well, that's very interesting. What do you think this thing is?
This is the palisaded, yeah.
This is the palisade encapsulated neuroma, superficial spindle cell clefting. See the clefts? Someone took a sledgehammer and smashed it. This is the palisade encapsulated neuroma. Now back to this one.
This is a amputation neuroma, a
Ah, a
traumatic
traumatic
neuroma.
neuroma. Excellent. Very good. It doesn't necessarily have to be an amputation, but yes, amputation is a form of trauma. Agree. Certainly could, if there was an amputation, that would be a form of trauma. But yes, traumatic neuroma. Excellent. Haphazard, actually bundles of nerve.
So is traumatic neuroma the only thing that has these discrete bundles of nerves?
Well, the other thing that has discrete bundles of nerves could be discrete bundles of nerves. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, this is the pattern you'd look for. But there's not much of an organization to it in terms of like in real nerves, like they're innervating. I mean, they're innervating something. These are fairly
Usually, so usually the nerves in traumatic neuromas, they're smaller, much smaller, like haphazardly oriented nerve bundles. Like this
This
I
is
don't know
large.
what it's labeled, but that looks a lot like a Morton's, what you can get in a Morton's neuroma with the perineurium fibrosis, and it's deep in the subcutis and the fat. I guess if you go upon higher power there,
If there's any like
that looks a little better. I'm not sure this is the best example.
let me see if there's a better area like this. These are smaller.
Yeah, that's a little better for like a traumatic neuroma. What you might be seeing with those larger nerve trunks or just, damaged nerve that's fibrotic. But this is kind of what you want to see for, much smaller bundles. All right. So maybe that you're just, maybe these are somehow coming off or connected to that larger nerve that looks more like what you'd see in a Morton's neuroma. Anyway.
Avi, do you think they will give us like a scar tissue and like, as a reference point? Otherwise, how we're supposed to know this is like traumatic neuroma or like
Well, scar tissue looks very different from a neuroma, or be it a Morton's neuroma or a
But
traumatic.
but oftentimes they're embedded in fibrosis in the scar, the traumatic neuromas. Morton's neuromas, they'll tend to have this perineural fibrosis. It's kind of interesting. It's like two things are going on here. Anyway.
Yeah, I was looking to see if it's acral or volar to see if there's any signs of it being a Morton's neuroma, but to no avail. In any case, you should still be able to eat, like even if one is better than the other, you should still be able to differentiate the spindled look of nerve versus the spindled look of scar. Fibroblastic versus neural.
Yeah, they'll be discrete within the fibrosis, within a background of fibrosis, the little nerve twigs. That's all they basically are. They're regenerating nerve twigs, and typically they'll be in scarring fibrosis.
We had an actually example where we had a supernumerary digit. In fact, maybe this one has it. Let's take a look. An example of a supernumerary digit that was amputated. I'd have to torture it into it. Or torture these little bundles into like an amputation neuroma. No, I don't think that's, but I've seen an example where there's a amputated supernumerary digit and like right at the end, you can see these little bundles of nerves as an amputation neuroma. But yeah, that's basically the look. Disorganized bundles of nerve. We went over this. See, what is it, guys? You know this now? Whirling sclerotic stroma.
Sclerosing perineurioma.
Yeah, good. Sclerosing perineurioma. Where are we now?
Scalp.
Yep. We are on the scalp. Okay. What do you guys think is going on here? So you might look at some of these structures and think like vascular pattern. These are pretty epithelioid, though. And some vascular things can be epithelioid. But in this case over here, they're actually forming a sort of almost like a syncytial or pseudosyncytial type of look to them. They're really aggregating up. Sometimes it could be more subtle. And there, of course, are real vessels in the background as well.
Is this a meningeal
Very
seal?
good. It's a
Meningocele?
rudimentary meningocele. Excellent. Good job.
Was it something? What was those little like? I don't know if it was. They were like little, really tiny red dots in that one that you were showing.
Yeah, no, this actually, this might even be like, yeah, no, these actually do look like blood cells in this case.
Uh,
But they're not supposed to be they're supposed to be pseudovascular. There might be background procedural hemorrhage. Theoretically, these epithelioid cells they actually look sort of like, in some cases, they describe it as looking similar to a giant cell fibroblastoma. But unlike the cells of a giant cell fibroblastoma, what differentiates a rudimentary meningocele? Like, how would you differentiate? What do they stain for?
I don't know the stage for meninges.
Yeah, so CD34 negative, unlike a giant cell fibroblastoma, it'll be EMA positive. So that's one. So that's one thing. Rudimentary meningocele. Now, what's different about this scalp?
Was like an area where there's basically no hair.
Yes, very good. There's an area where there's absolutely no hair. Okay. When there's no hair, what do we think?
Like I'm thinking like hair collar sign.
Okay,
If
you are
if
thinking hair. Okay, so it's not an nevus sebaceous, so you're thinking, you're already off of that. This is okay, hair collar sign. Hair collar sign makes you think of what?
well, sometimes like I can be like aplasia cutis or cutis
Right,
aplasia.
okay, sure. Can you see the hair collar sign on path?
That's a good question. I don't know. It kind of looks like there's some hair around it.
Yeah, but that's
there's-
going to be true for a nevus sebaceous. That's going to be true for any focal scarring alopecia. Like a nevus sebaceous, you can see area of hair, no hair, hair.
Mhm.
So don't just see that and be like, oh, it must be a hair collar sign. That's on path. That's just an area of no hair. That's all it is. By the way, those pseudovascular spaces, they're back again.
This is the same, like the rudimentary meningocele
With,
again.
yes, with.
Alopecia? No, I don't know.
This is a scarring alopecia. It's a type of scarring alopecia. In this case, it's a congenital scarring alopecia. We don't see this very often because it's very rarely biopsied. But you're right. It is a hair collar sign. I just want to caution you against just seeing hair, no hair, hair, and concluding hair collar sign. So yes, rudimentary meningocele with what? You already said it.
Like congenital alopecia.
Okay, what's an example of a congenital alopecia? A congenital scarring alopecia that has a hair collar sign.
Aplasia cutis congenita.
Aplasia cutis congenita. Yes, so aplasia cutis congenita with rudimentary meningocele. Awesome, good job. Okay. Lobules of growth. And there's some whirling here, mostly lobules of growth. And these you have these guys, these spherical areas of calcification.
Samoma bodies.
Samoma bodies. Ooh, who remembers the Samoma body differential?
I just remember
Meningioma, thyroid cancer, papillary thyroid cancer.
Papillary thyroid cancer, very good. Meningioma, very good. Okay.
Ovarian.
That's it. I don't know anymore.
Ovarian, I think.
Is there like a type of, I don't know, ovarian cancer?
Ovarian cancer.
Serous? No, epithelial? No. I don't remember.
Yeah, so there's like, I mean, you're not going to be tested on it, so I don't even know if it's worth it. Yeah, but there's a type of ovarian cancer that can do Samoma bodies. But okay, yes, you picked up on the Samoma bodies. Very good. So there's different types of, in this case, what do you think this is?
rudimentary meningocele.
Yeah, meningocele. I'm like, so not papillary thyroid cancer, not serous carcinoma of the ovary. Fine. Now there's different types of meningiomas. There's meningothelioid meningiomas, there's fibrous meningiomas, there's even something called Samomatous meningiomas, which have way more Samoma bodies than this. In fact, it's kind of all Samoma. This is probably the most common one, meningothelioid meningioma. But yes, very good. Good job on the Samoma bodies. Okay, you recognize this, don't you?
Is that encapsulated?
Well, 1 second. Just what does this look like?
Looks like a schwannoma.
Looks like a schwannoma. It's multifocal as hell in this case. In fact, you're not even sure where it's capsulated. They probably are encapsulated. But why is it so multifocal? In fact, it kind of has this sort of architecture. That's also multifocal. So is there such a thing as well, what did it make you think of in the other example? You got it in 2 seconds. So what was this? Whoever got it in 2 seconds, speak up.
Plexiform.
Plexi. Okay, and why do you think it's plexiform?
Because it looked like plexiform. No, it's like they're bundled and then
Multifocal bundles. You can even look at this and be like, if I squeeze this, it'll squeeze like a bag of worms. See that? Now look at this. You can clearly see it's not all that unreminiscent of the other. It's multifocal. It's not one just discrete. Just like the other one wasn't one just discrete neurofibroma. This is not one discrete schwannoma.
Is this a plexiform schwannoma?
Yes, you can have just if you have a plexiform neurofibroma, can you have a plexiform schwannoma? Sure. Okay.
Just to clarify, Avi, like those guys, so they understand that these are all interconnected. It's a plexus, right? It looks multifocal, but they're all interconnected. And one interesting thing about that, the plexiform neurofibroma, it inevitably has a diffuse neurofibroma in the background. So that, that case that you guys were looking at moments ago, the plexiform neurofibroma, if you want to, you'll typically see the loose wavy cells of neurofibroma in the background between the aggregates. All right, so just don't be distracted by that.
So it's a misnomer, just like what is it, the micro this like superficial multifocal BCCs, or when they say I think that was the term.
Yeah, they used to think this superficial basal cells were multifocal, and then some German medical student went into a basement and cut 1 million slides off of KISS and showed that they were all interconnected. Sorry for that reference, but they was very meticulous.
Yeah, just like superficial multifocal BCC is a misnomer. The multifocality is a misnomer here too. But it looks like it. Definitely looks like it. And it could be helpful because, hey, if it looks like it, you can separate it. Plexiform neurofibroma, or in the plexiform schwannoma in this case. All right. Good job, guys. Let me just stop the recording and let me just ask